On, guys? Welcome to what's going to be my first ever Monday Night Raw review. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Obviously, I've seen other people do it. There's a few people that I've gotten my inspiration from to even try this and see where it goes as far as the YouTube world goes, and doing podcasts or reviews or whatever have you. So tonight we're going to be doing a review for Monday Night Raw, which was not that good of a show, honestly. And since I don't have a camera, I'm going to be putting the voiceover over some WWE 2K19 gameplay, which is going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match between Sting and the Undertaker, which was a WrestleMania dream match that we never got to see. It's one that I've always wanted to see. It's probably the one that I wanted to see the most, but that's just never going to happen anymore. And that's okay, because at least we can do it in the video game. Anyway, enough of me babbling on about that. Let's get right into this review and talk about just how terrible the overall show really was. The show opened. Let me just actually do a side note here on how Monday Night Raw starts every week. It starts off lame as hell every single damn week. We get the fade from black, and then we get the same camera angle panning over the crowd, and Michael Cole goes, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw, blah, blah, blah." Go fuck yourself, Michael Cole. Whatever happened to the good old days where we got an opening video over some kick-ass music where it would show highlights of all the stuff that's happened on Raw and all the superstars, that are on the show, and then that would lead into a nice pyro a nice, pyro display going off on stage. With multiple camera angles panning over the crowd, everybody's going fucking wild, everybody's excited, everybody's got signs. Yeah, JR and the King fucking welcome you to Raw with actual excitement in their voice. I know we're never going to get another JR and Jerry the King Lawler duo again. I don't think we're ever going to get anything that good again, but I mean, we do have Mauro Ranallo in NXT. Pair him with Corey Graves, and I think we can get a pretty good two-man duo there on the Monday Night Raw commentary. But that's never going to happen, so let's just forget about that. Anyway, so Monday Night Raw opens, and we got Stephanie McMahon in the ring with her cringe ass. Stephanie McMahon does nothing for me as far as television goes. I mean, I get why she's there. It looks like they're going for a Stone Cold and Vince angle, but with the women this time. So now it'll be Becky and Stephanie. This opening promo wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I actually enjoyed it. Stephanie was about to introduce Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes out earlier than expected and cuts off Stephanie McMahon's introduction. Becky, by the way, she's over as fuck. I don't care what anybody has to say. Don't come at me saying that she doesn't deserve what she's got and that she's freaking lame and boring, because the crowd tells you differently, and you kind of follow where the crowd goes. So they're going back and forth, talking. Stephanie saying how she doesn't know if Becky Lynch is medically cleared to compete because of the bad knee from the Royal Rumble. They show a little reminder of what happened at the Royal Rumble. And then she starts threatening that if Becky Lynch doesn't see a doctor, she's going to suspend her. And Becky Lynch is talking about how you're not going to take this away from me. I've worked too hard. And then she starts saying, what would Stephanie McMahon know about hard work? And the crowd starts popping for that. And she tells her how she's pretty much a spoon-fed daddy's little girl, and she's never had to work hard for anything in her life. And the crowd's really into this. And then Stephanie keeps saying how she knows that Becky, has worked so hard for this moment, but she still needs to be medically cleared because it's a liability for WWE. God forbid she got injured. So Becky Lynch says, stop bringing it up, or, I'm not going to be responsible for my actions. So obviously Stephanie keeps bringing it up. And then Becky Lynch says no, she's not going to see a doctor. So then Stephanie McMahon suspends Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch loses her shit. Starts attacking Stephanie McMahon. Knocks her to the ground. Goes to put on the disarmor. And can't fully lock it in because her knee kind of buckles on her. And she kind of hobbles to the corner. She's in pain. And then a bunch of referees come out. And a bunch of goons in the back come out. And they start separating Becky from Stephanie. Becky Lynch punches a couple of these dumbasses in the face. Starts attacking Stephanie in the corner. Stephanie's kind of curled up in the fetal position, then kicks Becky Lynch in the knee, and that separates Becky from Stephanie because obviously Becky's got the injured knee. So she hobbles off, and they're able to get Stephanie out of the ring and take her to the back. And then eventually Stephanie or Becky Lynch heads to the back, and we kind of go to a commercial break because we don't get enough of those every week. We come back from commercial break, and we got Becky Lynch in the back, and she's approached by Ronda Rousey, who I will say has gotten much better on the mic compared to what she was back in the day. She still can be cringe at times, and sometimes her promos and the stuff she says is kind of weird, but it works for her because that's just who she is. So it really works for her. Half the time I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but she says it with, with emotion. She doesn't just lackluster it, and it's believable, and it adds to the story. And she's pretty much telling Becky to stay home and rehab because she wants her at 100% at WrestleMania so she can kick her ass, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking forward to this match a lot. I'm not going to lie. This is probably the biggest thing going on in the entire company right now. So we'll see where it goes from here. I mean, I don't think this injury angle is really needed, but I understand why they're doing it, because knowing WWE Creative and how lazy and boring they are, they wouldn't be able to book this for the next 2 months without something added extra like a small injury angle. So we go from that, and that leads into our first match of the night, which is Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. I don't really know what the point of this match was or is, but here we are. And I will say that Ronda Rousey, I kind of feel like she either needs new ring gear or something, man, because every match she's constantly fixing her fucking gear. She's constantly pulling at it. I don't know if she's getting wedgies every 2 seconds, but if that's the case, then she needs to get some kind of different gear, because it's very distracting from the match, and it's very blatant, and it kind of takes away a little bit. So, excuse me. So her and Liv Morgan start going at it. This match does not last long at all. 2 minutes tops. I don't even think it lasted that long. Ronda Rousey applies the armbar. Liv Morgan taps out. She then does Ronda Rousey grab a microphone and says how the fans are booing her, and she's like all pissed off, and she says who else wants some. She starts looking at Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan gets on the apron, like she's about to get in the ring and have a match with her, and she says, Ronda Rousey goes to her, "Are you gonna skin me like one of your dead rabbits?" And I kind of LOL'd at that, because that was actually kind of a funny line right there. So Sarah Logan eventually does get in the ring, and apparently we got ourselves another match. And in the beginning of the match, Ronda Rousey goes to apply the armbar, and somehow Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are allowed to pull Sarah Logan out of the ring, away from harm's grasp. And I don't understand how this is not a disqualification, because you're physically interfering in the match. I mean, that's terms for a DQ right there. Whatever, it's not a DQ. We go to commercial break. We come back, and Sarah Logan is getting offense on Ronda Rousey. This goes on for a couple more minutes. Eventually, Ronda Rousey does apply the armbar to Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan taps out. Ronda Rousey has now beaten 1/6 of the Women's Elimination Chamber Tag Team title match on her own. So now the Riott Squad looks real, credible going into that match, because they're definitely going to win the tag team titles. Then it looks like Ruby Riott is going to be the next victim, but she kind of second guesses herself and says, no, not tonight. And I'm kind of glad she did, because we all know how that would have ended, and we don't need the entire Riott Squad looking like absolute scrubs. So from there we go to another backstage segment where I don't know if it was Charlie Caruso or Dasha Fuentes or whatever, these fucking monotone fucking people. Well, maybe not Charlie Caruso, but Dasha Fuentes is fucking terrible. So she's interviewing Ruby Riott, and she says, why did Ruby Riott run away? Ruby Riott says, no, I didn't run away. I can beat Ronda whenever I want, but, my friends are hurt, and, you got to be there for your friends. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody really cares. Going on from there, we got a little, we had a little promo from Heavy Machinery, and Otis is this dude is just like oozing charisma, and this dude is just entertaining. He is legit funny. Like, he's a funny dude. And Tucker Knight is not that bad either when he was cutting his part of the promo. These two guys can be great on the main roster. I hope they do something with them and they don't fucking ruin them like they've done pretty much all the other NXT talents, especially the tag division. Looking at you, Ascension, how bad they ruined those guys after just like a month, thanks to the APA on that, what was that Raw anniversary show where pretty much just got destroyed. What happened next here? So now go to another commercial break because we get about what is it, 87 commercial breaks every Monday Night Raw. And of course, during this commercial break, we have to see a Total Bella commercial, which is just absolutely. I wish this fucking show would get canceled. Between that and Total Divas, just get rid of both of them. Nobody watches this crap. It's just absolutely fucking poison to the wrestling business. Because having that being related in any way to wrestling is just no, thank you. So next, looks like we're getting a tag match between Sasha and Bayley. Well, this isn't what was next, but we had like a little backstage moment with Nikki Cross and Alicia Fox, and then we had Sasha and Bayley, and I don't know what they're doing with Nikki Cross, teaming her with Alicia Fox. This is why a lot of people are not that happy with the tag titles coming out right now, because they don't have that many legit women tag teams. I mean, maybe if you spread it out between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, it'd be a little bit better, because we'd have more people, but look at these random pairings. I mean, Alicia Fox and fucking Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross deserves better than this, man. Alicia Fox is fucking terrible. Nobody's ever cared about Alicia Fox for however long she's been there, whether it's 10 plus years or whatever. She's never been relevant ever. So, after this, we get a 4-way tag team match to determine the number one contender for the Raw tag team titles, which are held by Rude and Gable. It's Heavy Machinery. What do we got here? Lucha House Party, the B Team, which I don't know what they've done to warrant a shot at being the number one contenders for the tag titles, and then we got the Revival. Let's see. Lucha House Party is super annoying during this match. Well, maybe not them, but you got Kalisto on the outside. He's waving this stupid fucking whirlwind thing that's making all this stupid noise during the whole damn match. Retarded as hell. We did have one nice spot in the match that caught my eye. Besides Otis doing his crazy stuff with his body crosses and all this other stuff, the team is extremely talented, and I can't see how they wouldn't get a tag team title run before, hopefully before the summer, or maybe they'll win it at SummerSlam or something. We'll just have to wait and see for that. But there was one nice spot where I think it was Lince Dorado doing a drop kick. So he drop kicked, I think, Dash, and then he did a moonsault in the process onto Dawson in one fluid motion. That was a really cool spot. If they would just, tone down the fucking ridiculous house party shit, I mean, they probably wouldn't be as annoying. But with this whole stupid Lucha House Party shit, it's just, to me, it's annoying. Eventually, Curtis Axel tags himself in for some reason, like he was going to win the match. I don't know what he was thinking. And the Revival hits him with a Shatter Machine. I'm pretty sure it was Curtis Axel. It could have been Bo Dallas. It doesn't really matter. They're both trash. Bo Dallas needs to break away from this shit and go find his brother Bray Wyatt and start a new Wyatt family. So they hit the Shatter Machine. They win. So now they're the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles. Will they finally get their moment in the tag division? Get the spotlight that they deserve? I don't know. We'll find out. Is it too late to even revive the Raw Tag Team titles? Because right now they're absolute garbage. I mean, Rude and Gable, they're entertaining in a way. They got the matching gear. They actually look like a legit tag team now, but nobody cares about the tag titles. Gone are the days of Edge, Christian, and the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys, and the APA and all them, actually making tag titles somewhat exciting to watch unfold in front of our eyes. But tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw is terrible. That leads us into another tag team, which I'm actually a little excited about to see what they do with these guys, because this story can be something special between Zack Ryder and Hawkins. You got Hawkins in the back, and I guess he's watching the tag team title match, or the number one contender match go, and he's saying how if Zack Ryder had any other partner, he probably would have been in the match, but since he's a loser and he's got like 250 something losses over 2 years, Zack Ryder says, Kurt Hawkins isn't a loser, or that they're both losers, and that they can't even spell Zack Ryder's name right. They spell it with an H instead of a K. And then Zack Ryder pretty much promises Hawkins that together they will end Hawkins' losing streak. And I'm telling you, this could be something special, man. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I love these little stories, you know, especially with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, two talented guys. You know, we all know that Zack Ryder can get over as fuck because the dude was super over in 2011. I was actually at the Survivor Series in 2011 at MSG when John Cena and The Rock teamed up, and you would thought that The Rock would get the biggest pop of the night, but he did not. He got a good pop, but it paled in comparison, honestly, to Zack Ryder's pop when he came out and attacked Dolph Ziggler. That pop was actually absolutely fantastic, and I actually have a video uploaded on my channel of that pop live from the crowd. Just don't mind my obnoxious drunk ass yelling the whole time. But it was a great moment, and Zack Ryder was super over with the whole YouTube series he had going, and they really dropped the ball not giving him a U.S. title match at that Survivor Series, but that's for a different day. Continuing on here, we got Kurt Angle, and he's coming out, and looks like he's going to cut a promo for his retirement or whatever. And I love Kurt Angle, I really do, but when he comes out and he does the whole stupid point to the crowd thing with the "you suck" chants, it kind of takes away from it. It's a little cringy. I mean, I'm not going to bash on it too much because, you know, it's Kurt Angle. He's a Hall of Famer. He's having fun out there, but it's a little stupid. I liked it more when he was getting pissed off from it, and then he would really get pissed off at the what chance that the crowd was giving him back in the day. Man, those were some great Kurt Angle moments, and I miss that Kurt Angle because the Kurt Angle we have now it's not what we have. And as far as Kurt Angle in the ring, look, like I said, I love Kurt Angle. He's one of my all-time favorites, but he just can't do. If he could do at least 60 to 70% of what he used to do, I'd be fine with that. But he's more at like 35, 40, and he just. Whoop, sorry, I hit the mic. He just can't do nearly what he used to be able to do. Like his German suplexes look weak. His angle slams look. Everything he does looks a little bit too weak, and it doesn't look good in the ring, and it doesn't help his character or his legacy. Excuse me, a little cough here. So we have Kurt Angle cutting this promo. He's going over his whole life achievements, his gold medal and whatever, and he brings up eventually the European title, which is great because that was one of my favorite lower card championships of all time. I mean, the stories between, you know, Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog back in the day. Then you had D'Lo Brown, who's probably one of the more entertaining European champions. That was just good stuff back in the day. Like I said, even back in the day, the European title scene was entertaining. It wasn't a piss break. It wasn't a snooze fest. It was entertaining. And nowadays, you got the main event, and it's fucking terrible. So Kurt Angle's cutting this promo or whatever, and Baron Corbin comes out to interrupt him. Who didn't see this coming? By the way, Baron Corbin, this guy needs new ring attire. He looks like he's about to seat you at a booth at your local Applebee's, and it's fucking terrible. He's got to change his gear. It's hard to take a guy serious when he's dressed like that. He looks like a dumbass. So eventually he starts putting down Kurt Angle. I don't really remember everything he said. This leads to Drew McIntyre coming out, and he starts pretty much cutting into Kurt Angle. And Drew McIntyre on the microphone is fucking fantastic. Everything the guy says just feels believable, sounds believable, and he's not cringe like some of these other guys. So he starts cutting down Kurt Angle. They say they're gonna, you know, come down and finish the job and pretty much, you know, end his career or whatever. At this point, I'm thinking we're about to see a Jason Jordan return, which we did not see, which is kind of unfortunate because I used to give Jason Jordan shit back in the day, but looking back at it now, man, I kind of miss the guy. He was good in the ring. He fit the character that he was playing very well with his promos and the crowd giving him like that John Cena Roman Reigns heat. It was all fucking great. So I hope he comes back soon because I'd rather see him in this situation than what we seen, which is Braun Strowman coming out. And once that music hit, I kind of lost all interest in this angle. You know, no pun intended. But Braun Strowman, I don't know, man. This guy, he doesn't really do anything for me. They've fucking ruined this guy. And you know, for the whole Roman agenda with him turning heel because they didn't have anybody for Roman Reigns to feud against, and the hot and cold pushes, and him losing to Brock Lesnar fucking 3 times or whatever it is, and just in that Hell in a Cell match he had with Roman Reigns where they were both sleeping in the fucking ring for 20 minutes, and then the match was canceled because it was too brutal, but Mick Foley getting thrown off a cage is totally fine. Anyway, that's neither here neither here nor there. Anyway, so he comes out to save Kurt Angle. He starts, brawling with Corbin and McIntyre. Eventually, he knocks them both out the ring. And instead of seeing what we normally see, where we just see like the heels get frustrated and they're pissed off, yelling and walking up the ramp, they have these two guys who are both 6'5" at least and like 260 pounds. They have them fucking run like scared little children, like they just saw fucking Michael Myers in the background running through the crowd. And I didn't like that at all. It makes them look completely fucking uncredible, and they just look weak, just running into the crowd looking like scared little children. Not a good look for McIntyre or Corbin, especially Corbin because he already looks like an idiot. What do we got next? After that, we got a little thing telling us that we're getting a Elias versus Jeff Jarrett match. Oh, God. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know who wants to see this. Who the fuck in 2019 wants to see a Jeff Jarrett match? Seriously. Now, this is just WWE reaching into that proverbial cookie jar and grabbing out another legendary name, and this time it's Jeff Jarrett. It's not, it's either The Rock or fucking Stone, or maybe not Stone Cold, or Shawn Michaels or fucking The Undertaker or whatever. They just keep reaching for these fucking, these legends, these Hall of Famers that, it's not that we don't really want to see them anymore. It's just like, give us something new, man. We've seen this time and time again. And then on top of that, he has the Road Dogg coming out with him, and they start singing that fucking song again. Which I don't hate the song, but I just, like, enough is enough. Like, this is their one-trick pony, and it's just fucking stupid. And you got the Road Dogg coming out. He's claiming that he's one half, or I'm sorry, no, that was, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. That match didn't happen yet. They just showed the little clip for that, and I just wanted to bring up that nobody wants to see Double J. We'll get into that when that match comes. A quick reference I want to bring is to Renee Young on commentary. Renee Young on commentary is not good. I don't care what you say. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the mic. I really don't care what you say. You can call me a sexist. You can call me whatever you want. Renee Young on commentary is god-awful. On Talking Smack, she was fantastic. That show actually was fantastic. It gave us some great moments, like that moment between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. I don't know why they got rid of the show. They should probably bring it back. They can even do it for Monday Night Raw, since that's where Renee Young is the most. And, give her back that show, because on commentary, she's just not good. She doesn't flow well with Michael Cole and Corey Graves at all. Corey Graves is constantly fucking putting her in her place. I mean, and not in a bad way. Like, she'll say something stupid, and then Corey Graves will just pretty much just shut her down real quick with facts. And he does that later on in the show, and we'll get to that when we get to the main event. But yeah, she's terrible on commentary. She needs to go back to being backstage and doing, like, Talking Smack or something, because that's where she thrives the most. So what do we got next? Next, we have a little Seth Rollins promo shown of him winning the Royal Rumble, and then his altercation with Brock Lesnar last week. And I will tell you right now, the video packages are still great. They still look cool. They still, can hype you up a little bit, because they're leagues better than the show that the highlights came from. Last week's Raw was pretty shit, but if you just watched this little video promo, you would have thought that last week's Monday Night Raw was fucking fantastic, which it was not. Anyway, so after that, I don't know if we went to commercial, probably did, for like the 30th time in the first hour of the show. So we come back, and it's supposed to be Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross versus Sasha and Bayley. Sasha and Bayley are coming down. They get attacked by Nikki Cross and Alicia Fox. I don't know why this is how you're introducing us to Nikki Cross, who is different than any female superstar we've seen on the roster in quite some time. Pairing her with Alicia Fox, I mean, like I said, who the fuck cares about Alicia Fox? When the fuck was she ever relevant? Never. Let's see here. What do we got next? During this match, Graves, and I'm not taking anything away from him, I think he's one of the best color commentators they got, but he makes a mention that Sasha and Bayley have to earn it like everyone else to get into this match, but I guess he's just overlooking the whole Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville debacle. How did they earn it? I mean, they were just kind of thrusted into the match for no fucking reason at all. No explanation was given why they're in the match. Same thing with the Iconics, They had that bar burner with Oh yeah, that's right. They didn't have a fucking match. They were just put into the match because they have no legitimate tag team female teams in the fucking company, dude. This is why they need to kind of like go over to NXT and have the title defended across all three brands. I mean, why not? Give NXT a little bit more exposure, because I don't know if you guys saw that halftime heat, but that 6-man tag match was fucking out of this world, man. Absolutely crazy. So let me see. Where the fuck did I leave off here? So we're talking about how Sonya Deville and the Iconics and Mandy Rose or whatever didn't earn their way in, and they really didn't. They were just kind of thrusted into the match. Like I said, no reason was given. And this is why people are complaining about these tag team championships being given to us now, because there's no tag teams. I mean, we're just getting these fucking shitty random pairings like Nikki Cross and Alicia Fox, and I guarantee you next week or tomorrow night on SmackDown, we're gonna get the last tag team mentioned, and they're not gonna earn the spot. It's gonna probably be Naomi and either Lana and Carmella or some shit like that. And who the fuck are they gonna fight to qualify for the tag team title match? They're gonna fight nobody, because there's nobody on SmackDown. Then you got the Iconics, and then you got Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and then you got Asuka and Charlotte, who are probably gonna be feuding for the women's title. I don't really know, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow night on SmackDown what's going on with that. But I guarantee you that whoever the last team is, they're not going to have to qualify. So all of the SmackDown teams don't have to qualify, while Monday Night Raw does. So we have the match between Sasha and Bayley and Nikki Cross and Alicia Fox. Sasha and Bayley win. I mean, nobody's shocked by this. I mean, the good thing was that Nikki Cross looked pretty good in this match. She wasn't pinned, and she got a lot of offense in. But at the same time, like I said, she's being teamed with Alicia Fox, just by association, it doesn't look good. But Sasha Bayley win this match, they'll be in the Elimination Chamber. I hope they win it, because none of the other teams in this match get me excited for or scream women's tag team titles. All right, so moving on. What do we got next? And I also want to say that the Elimination Chamber idea to crown the first tag team champions is fucking dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's just the Elimination Chamber to me is something. Same thing with the Hell in a Cell. It's like a match. Well, maybe not the Elimination Chamber as much, but like the Hell in a Cell is a match that like blows off a feud. It's like the final act of said feud. The Elimination Chamber is more of a. It's more of like whatever whatever brand doesn't win the Royal Rumble, they have the Elimination Chamber match to determine their number one contender for WrestleMania, which I was cool with, but apparently we're not getting that this year because Daniel Bryan will be defending it inside the Elimination Chamber. Anyway, moving on, the Elimination Chamber thing for the tag team titles for the women is stupid. Should have been a tournament. I would have told a better story than what we're getting now, because what we're getting now, like I said, doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. The booking in this company it's just not good. Next we get what do we got here? We got Apollo Crews getting interviewed in the back about Kurt Angle. And during this, I noticed it in the background. I didn't know that they were going to actually be in the segment. I thought they were just randomly in the background. We've seen this awkward sighting of Drake Maverick and Razor, and I almost forgot they were even employed because Akam or whatever is injured. So they interrupt Apollo Crews, and I really didn't pay fucking any attention to this. I really didn't care. I just happened to see it in the corner of my eyes. I'm on my phone. So we get them going back and forth about something, blah, blah, blah. I'm guessing this is probably going to lead to some singles match next week or something. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Moving on. Now we got the Road Dogg coming out for this match with between Double J and Elias. He's coming out. He's doing his same shtick he's been doing for 20 years. He claims that he's still, not a former, but he's still one half of the tag team champions, because that's what he said. He didn't say former. He said he's still one half of the tag team champions of the world. But he might as well be, because the fucking titles are pretty worthless, as is an appearance by Road Dogg on this fucking god-awful show. Jeff Jarrett makes his way out. Thankfully, he isn't wearing that same gear he was wearing at the Royal Rumble, like his 1994, 1995 attire, with the fucking... I don't even know how you want to explain that gear. You just go watch the Royal Rumble, you know what I'm talking about. He wears his like 98, 99 attire when he was with Deborah, where he just had the fucking white and gold trunks, and he had a t-shirt on, but that eventually got ripped off. I don't know why these guys are on my television. I don't want to see Jeff Jarrett having a match in 2019. I really don't. I mean, I was never really a huge Jarrett fan. I didn't hate him. Thought he was a pretty decent heel back in the day. But, I mean, I have no urge to see Jeff Jarrett in a ring going against Elias. The Royal Rumble was cool and all, but we don't need to see any more of this cringy bullshit with My Baby Tonight and Road Dogg and blah, blah, blah. So Elias comes out while they're singing their stupid song, and he cuts him off. He talks about how the Road Dogg needs to go back to... He says something along the lines of, don't you need to go back to SmackDown and kill their ratings some more instead of bringing that shit over to Monday Night Raw? Monday Night Raw's ratings are fucking dying regardless of who, of Road Dogg's there or not. But I thought that remark was pretty funny. And then he said he'd rather watch another Adam Levine performance at the Super Bowl than watch Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg sing My Baby Tonight for like the 100th time. Which I don't agree with. I'd rather listen to those two sing that song than watch Adam Levine and that cringy fucking Super Bowl halftime show any day. Which I didn't watch, but I seen clips of it on Facebook, and it's fucking terrible. And that's not music, that's just noise. I watched Halftime Heat, and that was fantastic. But I mean, like I said, Elias killed it on the mic. Made a couple funny comments. This leads into the match, and according to Michael Cole, because I think he said it like 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. He kept calling him Jeff Jarrett. I don't know who the fuck Jeff Jarrett is, Michael Cole, but you need to reevaluate your names here, because it's Jeff Jarrett, not Jeff Gary. This guy's always fucking up on commentary constantly. Between that and his stupid one-liners when people come out, when Sasha Banks comes out and he says it's boss time or the big dog, all this fucking other cringy shit, and it's probably really not all his fault. It's a lot of shit getting fed to him in the mic from Vince McMahon, but I'm over Michael Cole on commentary. We need some fresh blood. We need some more Ronaldo on Monday Night Raw. Anyway, like I said, Elias takes on Double J here. This match is nothing special. I mean, the guy, you got Elias going against a guy who's hasn't wrestled in who the hell knows how long, and also, this did not make Elias look good at all. I mean, Road Dogg kept, jumping on the apron and interfering, which also didn't cause for disqualification. But we'll get into that later when we get to the main event, because the fucking main event was just illogical. So, we got Elias struggling to beat a 50-year-old Jeff Jarrett. And he eventually does get the win after, I don't know, the match was 7 to 10 minutes long. I really don't remember how long it was. But Elias was made to look pretty weak overall here because, yeah, sure, he won the match. But after the match, the Road Dogg hits him from behind, hits him with the shake, rattle, and roll. Tells him to suck it. And also, that was pretty funny when Elias did the whole little strut and then he told Road Dogg to suck it in the match. That was actually pretty funny. But after the match, like I said, Road Dogg attacks him. There's a shake, rattle, and roll. Tells Elias to suck it. Jeff Jarrett then hits Elias in the back with a fucking guitar, just like Elias has been doing to them. The guitar didn't even break that good, from what I remember. It looked kind of cheesy. But anyway, Elias rolls out the ring, hurting, and Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett pretty much leave with their heads held high while Elias looks like a fucking asshole on the outside of the ring like he does every week, because all he does is come out and do the same shtick, but nothing comes of it. No titles, no big wins, just more of the same shit every week on Monday Night Raw. So Elias looks weak here. He won the match, but he didn't leave on a high note. He got beat down by 2 old-timers, and that's pretty much the end of that. Next, we get Dana Brooke. Oh, God almighty, why is this... Look, I understand that, they need all the women they can get on the roster because of the tag team titles, but Dana Brooke is just... She's terrible. What does she bring? What does she offer to Monday Night Raw to make it better? Nothing at all. So she's cutting a promo on Natalya where she's saying that she belongs here, and Natalya's giving her the silent treatment, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna act like I'm not even here." I'm like, "Yeah, well, Dana Brooke, pretty much everybody acts like you're not there because nobody cares about you. You're irrelevant. Nobody cares." So she says she wants a one-on-one match with Natty next week, and she storms out, and then we see that Natalya has those fucking stupid ear pods in her ear, and she didn't even hear her the whole time. So it looks like we'll be getting a Dana Brooke and Natalya match next week, and man, I can't wait for that. That's going to be a real fucking 5-star classic right there. Said no one ever. Let's see. What do we got? I want to make a quick note on the ring announcing. We haven't seen JoJo in God knows how long, and I'm fine with that because I'm not saying she was bad, but I didn't enjoy her that much, and I enjoy Mike Rome a lot more doing the ring announcing than I do JoJo. Maybe she's catering to Bray Wyatt, who's on every local milk carton in the area over there, because we haven't seen him in God knows how long, even though he's been cleared to come back for quite some time. Let's see, what do we got next? We got Lashley coming out because he has a match with Finn Balor. Finn Balor cuts a promo in the back and talks about how when the Irish are injured, they're stubborn. There's been a lot of that going on, referring to Becky Lynch earlier in the night. Comes out, does his entrance. Lashley and Lio Rush come out. They start cutting a promo, and Lashley saying how he's better than Brock Lesnar and how he can beat him in the ring, he can beat him wrestling, he can beat him in the octagon, blah, blah, blah. I really hope this isn't any kind of indication that we're going to get this match in the near future because I'm over it, and we're probably all over it. Bobby Lashley does not... I mean, as an athlete, yeah, maybe he does look credible, but like the way he's been booked and just the amount of care that nobody has for him, he's not credible in a match with Brock Lesnar. I don't really want to see it. If we see it, we do. I hope it's not for a title. If we do, God forbid it's for the Universal title. But like I said, I don't want to see it. But if we do, I just hope it's not for the title. Well, anyway. So what's going on next? So so they make their way down to the ring. And apparently wrestlers are allowed to change match cards on the fly in the middle of Monday Night Raw. Because it was supposed to be Lashley versus Balor. But Lashley says, no, it's not going to be me. It's going to be Lio Rush. And if you beat Lio Rush, maybe I'll think about giving you an Intercontinental Championship match. So Lashley interrupts in this match. He pulls Finn Balor out of the ring. First, he attacks him before the match, before the bell rings. Then, during the match, he pulls Balor out of the ring and starts beating him up on the outside. Oh, God. The referee is staring directly at this nonsense going on. And instead of calling for the bell for disqualification, the fucking referee instead says, pretty much throws Lashley out. He ejects him from ringside. I don't understand this logic. I don't know how it's not a disqualification. But apparently to WWE, this is not a disqualification. So anyway, so he's thrown to the back. We keep getting the Balor and Lio Rush match resumes. A couple of cool moments in this match. Lio Rush does this springboard from the bottom rope into like a stunner. I couldn't really see because the cameraman got faked out, like Graves mentioned on commentary. They even faked out the cameraman. It looked like he was going to like go to the outside, but instead he bounced off the bottom rope, and I guess he gave him like a stunner because that's what it kind of looked like, but you couldn't really tell. And then pretty much, Balor does his shtick. He does the drop kick in the corner, which actually looked pretty good, and then he does the coup de grace, and he gets the win. And by the way, that was the second time tonight that we've seen blatant interference in a match, and no disqualification was called for. It's like they do this shit on purpose, especially when we get to the main event. Like I said, this shit's illogical and fucking dumb. Like I said, Rush is pretty good in the ring, but the match just didn't really make any sense. Right after this, we just get a random appearance from Paige. I didn't know what was going on at first, but then after like 2 seconds, I realized that her movie's coming out, so she's just there to promote her movie. And man, I'll tell you right now, some people might not care that she's gone or might not miss her, but they could use somebody like Paige back on the active roster. And man, looking at it now, I kind of miss her on the active roster because what we have now between, the whole Charlotte, Asuka, Becky, and Ronda Rousey thing is great. And Sasha and Bayley possibly winning the tag team titles is great, but besides like that, the women's division, like, besides those, like the fucking 4 or 5 people, it's like nobody cares. So it would be nice to see Paige come back, but I don't think we're ever going to see that. At least if we did, it ain't going to be any time in the near future. This leads to more cringe. So Bliss apparently is back on the active roster. She was cleared to compete. She was in the Royal Rumble. But we still have to watch the segment known as A Moment of Bliss, which just gives me, when you watch like that 1999 Raw where Mankind won the title because Stone Cold came out and Stone Cold's music and everybody went crazy and it just gives you goosebumps. any kind of pop gives you goosebumps. This is the kind of shit that gives me douche bumps. This cringy bullshit, dude. Bliss comes out, and her guest is EC3. So EC3 comes out. He does this whole thing where he points to the things. He's not really getting much of a reaction when he comes out, but once his music stops, there's a small little EC3 chant going. It's whatever. Then we got Bliss looking like she wants to seduce this guy into her fucking bedroom back at the hotel. I don't know what's going on with her character, with the whole thing where they caught her in the back and she only had like a towel covering her top, and now she's seducing men in fucking a moment of bliss. Don't understand what's going on. Anyway, out comes Nia Jax and Tamina. As soon as these two women come out, the fucking segment just takes a nosedive. I don't care. I especially don't care about Tamina. Nia Jax I don't really care about, but at least she's a little bit better than Tamina. At least she has, I guess, a little something going for her. I mean, kind of by accident with the whole Becky Lynch thing, because without that, nobody would give a flying fuck. She just has awful mic skills, though. Nobody cares what she's saying. She's saying she's not out here for this little fucking speed dating thing or whatever that EC3 and Alexa Bliss had going on. Then, out of nowhere, we got Ambrose coming out with that terrible theme music he has with the fucking siren going off. I hate that. Why did they do that to his music? I'll never understand. It's lacks creative. They should have just gave him a brand new theme song all in all, but it is what it is. Anyway, Ambrose comes out. He says he has a word to say to Nia Jax, and that Nia Jax has a crush on him. And this only leads to the cringe just getting worse and worse as it goes along here. Ambrose did have a few funny lines here. I don't remember what they were, but I do remember laughing because I have it here in my notes. Then he makes mention to EC3. I think this is where the funny comments were, where EC3 like knocked the mic out of his hand, and he started asking him like, where? Yeah, he said something about like, where's EC1 and EC2? That kind of made me laugh. But eventually, EC3's had enough of hearing this bullshit, so he kind of punches Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose falls to the ground, makes his way to the ring. This leads to a match. By the way, this is not the Dean Ambrose we want to see. I mean, I don't mind him. He can be funny at times, but I don't want to see goofy comic Dean Ambrose. We just seen this not that long ago. I mean, if you guys remember his whole fucking feud with, what was it, Bray Wyatt and other people, and then he had Mitch the Plant and all this other bullshit, and this is not the Dean Ambrose we want to see. We want to see an actual crazed person, not this fucking comical relief shit. Anyway, this leads into a match between Ambrose and EC3. So EC3 finally makes his main roster in-ring debut, and during the match, Corey Graves mentions that EC3 is no stranger to the sports entertainment scene, and I don't have him. I mean, it's fine that he said that, but it's like WWE hates to mention that this is, that this industry is professional wrestling. I understand the whole sports entertainment thing is just fucking annoying. I don't know why it's like illegal to say the words professional wrestling in a professional wrestling company. But, whatever. It is what it is. It's fucking Vince McMahon and his senile mind. I don't know, man. This guy's fucking ridiculous. You can't mention professional wrestling. Everything's just got to be sports entertainment. Whatever. So the match goes on. Nothing special happens in the match. EC3 winds up getting the win with one of the weakest roll-ups I think I've seen in recent memory. And this loss to EC3 in such a weak manner might solidify that Ambrose is really on his way out of the WWE. And I don't know, I'm not going to say he's going to AEW or anything like that, but this might be him. This might be, this might solidify that he actually is leaving and that it's not a work. Because the dude is he's amazingly mishandled. I mean, his whole career has just been completely mishandled ever since the Shield originally broke up. He had a couple of little glimmers of hope, and then it was killed. Especially his heel turn that happened just a few months ago. What do we got next? Next, we pan over to another Mojo mirror promo, where Mojo Rawley is cutting a promo in the mirror talking to himself. I don't know where this is going. They're not bad promos. I mean, it's different, and it's kind of cool. I'm not much of a Mojo Rawley guy. I mean, they keep doing this stop and start thing with him, where they start pushing him, and then you don't see him for fucking a month, and then they start pushing him again, and then you don't see him for fucking 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever the fuck it is. So I don't know what's going on with it, but it's getting done with them doing the hot and cold thing and the stop and start. Either push the guy and see what happens for a little while, or just fucking or release him, or make him just be enhancement talent or talent for new guys coming up from NXT. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck you want me to say about this. We'll see where this goes. This whole mirror talking in the mirror thing. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming weeks. That brings us to our main event tag team match between Braun Strowman and Kurt Angle versus Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. Or Corbin. If I told you I cared about this match, I'd be lying. During this match, Corey Graves starts, this is what I'm talking about with Renee Young. She starts saying something about Kurt Angle and, you know, still having the fire in the fight, and then Graves just starts spinning facts about how, you know, she says something about Kurt Angle's legacy and fighting on, and then Corey Graves says, well, legacy doesn't win you matches, and that's why they have Hall of Fames, so that your achievements can be remembered, or Joe Namath would still be in the NFL playing as quarterback. I absolutely fucking love that analogy he made. I don't remember the exact full wording he used the entire time, but it was fucking great, and Renee Young just looked like an idiot. And that's why I tell you, she's not good on commentary, because she's completely getting owned on commentary, especially by Corey Graves. And this one was freaking great. I loved when he said, you know, you don't win matches on legacy, because you don't. And like I said, Kurt Angle in the ring is just obviously not what he used to be. And I'm not mad at him. It's not his fault. Like he said, it's father time. Okay, so in this match, while Kurt Angle was the legal man and Braun Strowman was on the outside, there was a few mentions that Strowman can't touch McIntyre or Corbin because he was not the legal guy in the match, which technically is right. But, I mean, they're saying stupid, and they kept bringing it up like it was weird. It was like so blatantly obvious that they kept bringing this up, and it was so weird to me. I was like, is this match really going to end in a DQ like that? Because, like I said earlier in the night, we had 2 matches where there was blatant fucking interference in the match, and the referee did not call for the bell. So eventually Kurt Angle tags in Braun Strowman. He starts, you know, powerhousing Corbin and McIntyre. Then eventually they start getting the better of him. Then he tags Kurt Angle back in. So Kurt Angle is now the legal man again. And Braun Strowman comes from outside the apron, and Corbin starts yelling at him like, you can't touch me or you'll be disqualified. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, what is this illogical bullshit? What is this fucking verbiage that they're spitting here to us, because it doesn't make any sense. So eventually, like I said, Braun Strowman punches Baron Corbin or whatever. I think he punched him like twice and like took him to the outside, and then all of a sudden the referee calls for the bell. So apparently that is you know, justified to be a disqualification. But people interfering in actual matches that don't belong in the fucking matches at all doesn't call for a disqualification. It just calls for Bobby Lashley getting ejected from ringside and the Riot Squad not even getting a slap on the wrist. So, yeah. That is WWE logic at its finest. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you just how stupid this fucking main event was. Eventually, let's see here. Yeah, so McIntyre hits a Claymore kick on Braun Strowman after the match. And Braun Strowman goes to the outside. They start tearing apart the steel stairs again like they always do. And they bring him in the ring. It looks like they're about to finish off Kurt Angle. And I'm starting thinking in my head again, since Braun Strowman got kicked into the crowd, I'm like, well, are we going to see Jason Jordan again? Is he going to come out for the save? I sure fucking hope so, to save this fucking shitty main event. But that doesn't happen. Instead, we get Braun Strowman just comes back in and just completely devastates McIntyre and Corbin single-handedly. Gives them both choke slams on the steel stairs. McIntyre takes the bump like a champ. And then he goes to chokeslam Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin takes the most awkward and weak-looking fucking bump. It was terrible. It looked so fun. It didn't even look like it hurt. I understand that nobody really wants to take a bump like that on stairs, but you're a professional wrestler. Sometimes you got to take a nice bump. And this bump was just terrible. It looked awful. And that's pretty much how Monday Night Raw ended. He chokeslams them both on the ropes, does his little fucking hands in the air, get these hands. Kurt Angle's looking there looking like a freaking goon. And Monday Night Raw goes off the air. Like I said, it was another lackluster and very forgettable Monday Night Raw. It was not good. It started off hot. In my opinion, it really did. It started off a little hot with the whole Stephanie and Becky thing, and then it just took an ice bath from there on out, and it never recovered, never regained any momentum that it might have had. And that's pretty much that's the gist of every Monday Night Raw. It's just boring. And this is the road to WrestleMania, people. This is the road to WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the most exciting time of the year, and this is what we're getting. We're getting bullshit. We got one good storyline on Raw right now going with Becky and Ronda. The Seth and Brock Lesnar thing, it's okay. We didn't get any Seth tonight. We didn't get any Lesnar. And yeah, and I'm going to WrestleMania this year. I actually have a ticket to go. People might say like, well, you're a hypocrite. You know, you're gonna sit there and bash the company because you're gonna hear me bashing them a lot more. But then it's like, oh, but you keep giving them money, you keep buying tickets. Look, I'm going to WrestleMania mostly for the experience that I have with my friends, especially for tailgating, sitting in the parking lot, grilling up, having a few drinks, listening to music a couple hours before the show starts. Because I went to WrestleMania 29. And I'll tell you right now, the tailgating itself was better than WrestleMania 29. WrestleMania 29 was terrible. The tailgating I had with my friends for 4 or 5 hours that we sat in the parking lot was fucking fantastic. And I'm looking forward to doing it again this year. So if you guys are going to be in or around the WrestleMania area on WrestleMania Day, you know, feel free to come find me. You can come join us. There'll be a couple of us, probably like 10 of us, all in all, just hanging out, you know, listening to music, eating and drinking. Yeah, but that's not until April. Right now we're on February 4th in an episode of Monday Night Raw, which is, like I said, very forgettable and not good at all. But that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. You know, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you enjoy it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell it to you like it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything and tell you that Raw is great and be super positive, man. I'm just going to tell you to you just how I see it. If it's good, it's good. If it sucks, then it sucks. And Monday Night Raw tonight, for the most part, fucking sucked. But that, like I said, that's going to be it for the video. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want. It'd be much appreciated. And I'll see you guys probably tomorrow night for my first SmackDown Live review, which I'm pretty sure will be a better show. But for now, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Peace out.